Tonight on the South Today, keen mountaineer Helen Clark opens a musterer's hut at Wanaka's snow farm for outdoor education. The Dunedin City Council wants to encourage more commuters to get on their bikes by installing parks around town. And an eatery with a difference in Queenstown, with great views and offering free food for local workers. Kia ora, good evening, I'm Hannah Wilkins. A new hut in the mountains behind Wanaka is set to help boost outdoor education opportunities for school groups. The Musterer's Hut at the Snow Farm in the Cardrona Valley was officially opened on Saturday by former Prime Minister Helen Clark.
About 4.5 kilometres up the River Run Trail on the Snow Farm near Wanaka sits a newly constructed hut. Called the Musterer's Hut, the facility sleeps 36 and is designed with school groups in mind. The hut was officially opened on Saturday by former Prime Minister Helen Clark. The building was put together over this last summer and autumn by Breen Construction, with the company able to beat supply chain issues to deliver the hut on schedule and within budget.
We like doing work in remote locations. I mean, we like working in towns and bits and pieces as well through Otago and Southland, but certainly just being in those remote locations adds a bit of extra challenge to it, and that's sort of what we and all our clothing wheels like.
Helen Clark is a trust patron of the Snow Farm, and she and her husband Peter Davis are keen cross-country skiers and regular visitors to the area. She was delighted by the way the good weather coincided with the opening of the new hut.
This is just perfect, and I must say, for us, we've had 3 days like this up here already, so it's just been amazing to see the weather hold for today.
Snow Farm hosts about 36 schools from around the South Island each year, with some groups booking for up to 4 nights. The hut will help with school groups wanting to learn about Nordic skiing, alpine ecology, weather, snow dynamics and snow caving. Near Wanaka, the South Today.
Some Dunedin residents are concerned about public safety near the CBD and a possible threat to the city's local music industry. Part of a derelict building collapsed over the weekend, while just a block away, a live music advocacy group met to discuss issues around inner city development. The roof of this building at 386 Princes Street fell in on Friday afternoon after a week of stormy weather. John Ling redeveloped the neighbouring Empire Hotel building and believes pedestrians risk being crushed to death by the neglected building near the city centre. The long vacant building at 386 is owned by a Christchurch-based company, Totara Dunedin Properties, who haven't responded to requests for comment. Around in Rattray Street, the Crown Hotel hosted a meeting of more than 40 people on Sunday. They're concerned a mixed-use building, including residential apartments, was granted resource consent to be constructed beside the famous music venue. The group Save Live Dunedin Music want the Dunedin City Council to review rules around soundproofing and insulation and are planning a rally in the Octagon in early August. The Dunedin City Council want to create better bicycle parking options in the city centre. Supporters of the plan say the proposed options for cyclists to stow their bikes while visiting the CBD could encourage more people to cycle to and from work.
Cyclists commuting into Dunedin's CBD might not have to park their bikes out in the rain in the future where there's the threat of theft or vandalism. The Dunedin City Council is proposing the creation of areas with high security bike racks, which could include roofing and standalone enclosures. Owner of Electrify Bikes Dunedin, Mike Willis, says the lack of secure and dry parking currently puts some people off the idea of cycling to work.
People invest a lot of money in their bikes and security and protection from elements is always going to be a bonus.
He believes the proposed bike parking facilities would see the same popular uptake as the Harbour Cycleway.
If people have got somewhere to park their bikes, then they're more likely to use them every day for getting to work and whatnot.
The council is yet to make a decision about constructing bike hubs on DCC land, with the size, design and cost still to be worked out. In Dunedin, the South Today.
Clear skies made for frosty conditions over Dunedin over the weekend, with ice catching some road users unaware. Vehicles have come to grief at different times on the same stretch of road on the Kilmog Hill, 2 over the weekend and 1 earlier. 2 cars have ended up down a bank on the roadside heading downhill to Blueskin Bay, while a van rolled over on the uphill side of the road. On Sunday morning, a driver lost control and ended up down a bank on a shady and slippery corner at Māori Road near Jubilee Park. Police are advising motorists to take care and watch for ice on all roads. Hundreds of midwinter carnival lanterns were carefully carried to their new home over the weekend. More than 500 lanterns were moved from their long-term Caversham address to be rehomed in North East Valley. The Dunedin Midwinter Celebrations Trust was assisted by volunteers as they loaded vehicles with paper lanterns. The Trust was forced to move the lanterns to a new but larger warehouse as their lease had expired.
It's probably one of the biggest warehouses we've had. Yeah, I mean, that's not so much a problem. The problem for us really is finding the funds to pay for it because we don't have any funds apart from what we generate.
Smith says it's easy to damage the lanterns during transportation because of how fragile they are. Volunteers have spent time covering some lanterns in a waterproof material to help make them more durable. A free hot meal is the perfect way to end a day up the mountain. And for the last 20 years, One Queenstown Church has been helping locals fill their bellies at their regular pasta cafe.
Serving up plates full of hot pasta for 2 decades. These Wakatipu Presbyterian Church volunteers dished out bolognese, salad and pasta at the first pasta cafe of the year. Frankton St Margaret's Church was filled with more than 100 people eager for some warm and free food.
You know, no limitations, anyone can come. And so you've got some folks here, some from the church and some from elsewhere, who are just working together to try and provide a good place of warmth and hospitality, friendship, fellowship to those who can come.
The food, including home baking, is donated by the church, local businesses and members of the community. The Pasta Cafe was initially started as a way of connecting with seasonal skifield workers who would often arrive in Queenstown before the snow did.
So this was again a place where they could come, get a good meal, fresh, home cooked. They loved the baking in particular, but also it was quite practical. So, you know, they weren't getting paid and this sort of just helped out during the week.
The Pasta Cafe will run for the next 3 Fridays, marking the 20th year of the initiative. In Queenstown, the South Today.
Whai Akane, still to come on the South Today. For the 137th time, the annual Oamaru Poultry Show brings people and birds together, and young skiers test their skills on the slopes at Cardrona's Piki Maunga.
Great Britain has a collection of varied landscapes and countryside to rival anywhere else in the world.
And the best way to see it is to walk.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
It's a midwinter Boxing Day sale. My mate John's lost the plot. It's July and he's put his Christmas tree up and he's taken 30% off absolutely everything. Plus you can pay it off interest-free. Midwinter Boxing Day sale. 30% off the lot. On now at John's Furniture Warehouse, Stafford Street, and online at mymatejohn.co.nz.
Where did you get that furniture from? Stafford Street and my mate John.
Passion,
drama, competition, rivalry, marketing, numbers,
atmosphere,
power, fight, attack, intuition, love, hate, money, cash, millionaires,
fans,
and fans. Oh boy.
Tēnā, welcome back. There was plenty of squawking at the annual Oamaru Poultry Show over the weekend. Run by the Oamaru Poultry, Pigeon and Canary Society, the event is in its 137th year. Spreading their wings at the show were hundreds of poultry, bantams, ducks, pigeons, plus aviary birds of all shapes, colours and sizes. The Oamaru Club is one of a number across the South Island, bringing together people who enjoy the poultry hobby. Judges assessed the top birds across a range of categories. The show was open to the public, with some birds also up for sale. The Dunedin City Royals are heading north after a successful semi-final. The team come out on top yesterday at the Logan Park Turf, beating Cashmere Technical 3-1 in the first South Island Women's Championship. Margie Diaz was the winning factor for the Royals as they slotted in 2 late goals to secure the win. The Royals will play against Coastal Spirit in the final, who had a comfortable 7-0 win against Roslyn Wakari. The Royals and Coastal will battle it out in the final at English Park in Christchurch on Sunday. Dozens of young skiers hit the slopes at Cardrona over the weekend, showcasing their off-piste talent. Piki Maunga is a stepping stone free ride event, giving young skiers the chance to test their skills ahead of tougher competitions. Skiers and snowboarders aged 15 years and under checked out the slopes on Friday ahead of the weekend's racing. Piki Maunga is a big mountain free ride competition, which organisers say is a great chance for younger athletes to try out the sport. 10-year-old Fred Walsh has been hitting the slopes since he was 2 years old and was looking forward to getting amongst it.
I'm feeling a bit nervous, but I think I can do it. I've been training for the whole before this.
The Piki Maunga event is an entry-level competition, providing a pathway into the New Zealand Junior Free Ride Tour. Local coach Sam Lee sees some of these young athletes could go on to compete around the world in larger events, including on the Free Ride World Tour. And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South Today. Keen mountaineer and former Prime Minister Helen Clark opens a musterer's hut at Wanaka's Snow Farm for outdoor education. The Dunedin City Council wants to encourage more commuters to get on their bikes by installing parks around town. And an eatery with a difference in Queenstown. This pasta cafe offers great views along with free food for local workers. And now a look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT, and we welcome the Associate Editor, Jo Simpson. Kia ora, Jo.
Hi.
Now what can we expect in your paper tomorrow?
The Otago Regional Council's attempt to fast-track a major planning document has been struck down in the High Court.
Oh. Okay.
Mystery continues to surround the death of a Dunedin man in the suburban park. Police now designate the death as suspicious.
Okay, that's a pretty big jump up from what they were saying at the end of last week.
Yeah, there's a lot behind it, I think.
Okay.
A juvenile yet gigantic humpback whale is being investigated for signs of foul play after being found up washed on a remote Dunedin beach.
Oh, okay.
And Dunedin and North Otago residents have been urged to watch for rapidly rising streams and rivers, surface flooding and slips after the Met Service has issued a heavy rain warning for the areas for today and tomorrow.
Brilliant, that's a good heads up, Jo. Thank you for sharing with us this evening.
you.
We look forward to your pay for tomorrow.
Thanks.
And time now for a look at the weather.
The South Today weather, proudly brought to you by MoleMap, the skin cancer detection specialists.
Looking at the situation, it'll be a wet and cloudy week ahead with plenty of precipitation over the region. Heading to the top of the South Island, gusty nor'easterlies and heavy rain up here for everyone. Nelson and Greymouth head for 14 degrees, while Christchurch will get a high of 11 degrees. Travelling south, more heavy rain lies ahead for South Canterbury and North Otago. Ashburton and Timaru will get 11 degrees with easterlies, and the winds pick up even more in Oamaru, wet too, with a high of 10 degrees. Westwards now to the Central Lakes, and the wild weather continues with gusty easterlies and rain through here. Whanaka, Queenstown and Alexandra all head for a high of 9 degrees. Heading further south, the strong easterlies make their way through here too, with late rain. Expect 10-degree highs for Balclutha, the Gore and the Catlins. And down to the deep south. Cloudy tonight in Invercargill with a low of 7. Tuesday's looking rather wet with rain due through the afternoon, along with cloud and winds picking up, a low of 8 and a high of 9 degrees. Wednesday comes with strong gusty easterlies and more rain, down to 8 and up to 10 degrees as the high. And for Dunedin, rain tonight with strong nor'easterlies, down to 7 degrees. Tomorrow looks overcast and cool with a lot of rain, the heaviest of the week, a low of 8 and a high of 9. And by Wednesday, the rain should start to ease up, but the easterlies will hang around, down to 8 with a high of 10 degrees. And that's the news this Monday. For the latest news and videos from the southern region, head online to odt.co.nz. And you can follow Channel 39 on YouTube to catch our news bulletins on demand. We'll see you again tomorrow. Ka kite popo.
Public interest journalism funded through New Zealand On Air.